I think I have to start this. Oh, I love this technology. See if this is, we're not fast enough, right? Hopefully you can see me. Hey everybody, hang tight. I think sorry, I'm checking. I think I'm having some technical difficulties. Can you let me know? Okay, you can see me. Sorry, I'm getting some red errors on my end. It says it's not working very effectively, but it looks like you guys are probably seeing me. I'm going to just keep rolling. Sorry for the delay. Let me just make sure that this is all okay. You can see and hear me. Okay. Hey, sorry about that, folks. Wait, happy Saturday and happy welcome to my 4-part live series that I have endearingly named my #1 tips, where I'm giving you my favorite piece of advice at each stage of your job search. And today, in fact, we're talking about job searching and more specifically about job search networking. And so this is session 2. If you did not catch session 1, we did that a couple days ago. It was on resume writing, in particular the career profile. Today we're going to be talking about job search networking and specifically about the one focal point that I want you to anchor on that will not only get you started in the right direction, but will keep your job search networking going effectively. And because it's Saturday, and in honor of this topic, because job searching and networking feels like a rugby match, I wore my favorite obnoxious rugby jersey for you. So welcome. I see you guys are in the chat. It appears as though you can see and hear me, even though my YouTube, okay, now it's telling me everything is okay. All right, great. So what I want to do today, we're gonna give you the agenda, but for those of you who did not get my little story up front on the session the other day, this is a 4-part live event to help you manage the entire event. I created a concierge page, an event page that's got all the details about the topics, what I'm going to be covering, the dates, so the schedule. You can also access the replays there, and you can also get at some other goodies, my free book, my blog, some other downloads, and those kind of things. So if you want to check the event page, that stuff is in the description. And one other thing, in addition to the event page to help you manage this process, make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel because you get the alerts when I go live, so you'll know that I'm going live. This will be a couple times next week as well. You can check the schedule or make sure you're subscribed. The other thing is I give out free videos weekly as well as go live every Thursday. So if you don't want to miss that stuff that helps you build a career you love, make sure to subscribe. All right, now, today, we got a lot of great stuff in store. Agenda-wise, I'm going to give you some context around job searching, the activities itself, but I want to give you some context around networking, why it's so important, some evidence of the fact. So I'm going to give you a few stats on this. I also want to talk to you about, what are a lot of the reasons that people don't network and some of the reasons or maybe excuses, and then also some of the mistakes that people are making. Then we'll go through that one focal point, really that major tip that you can kind of pin to the top of your portfolio, computer, and all that good stuff that'll really help you keep networking going in the right direction and in an accelerated fashion. I'm going to give you 4 steps that I would go through to get out of the gates really fast and how to do those. I'm also going to give you a case study on Stephanie, one of the boot campers who had great success with the tactics I'm going to give you, and then I'm going to tell you a little story about me that I hope you enjoy. It's not something I've ever shared before, but it's a bit of inspiration, and hopefully it'll boost your confidence, and it'll also share a piece of me with you. So I hope that's okay. Looks like we are going off, and we are okay. I look okay, except for this obnoxious shirt I'm wearing, which I'm hoping will tone down as we go on. All right, so let's talk about this. I said the context and the evidence that I wanted to provide. So a lot of you know, but I know some of you don't, that I am an executive recruiter. I have been for 15 years. I still am today, in addition to being a trainer. But for many of those 15 years, I was solely an executive recruiter. And I run an executive search firm called Mile Walk. You all are now part of the Mile Walk Academy, as you are taking part in a lot of the advice that I'm giving to job seekers. But with working with those companies and those corporations, as well as job candidates, both active and passive, as we went through those years, we interviewed a lot of people. I've personally interviewed 12,000 people, or actually more, and my company, Mile Walk, over those years has interviewed over 15,000 now, as we've recruited for these companies that we have represented who enlisted our services to help them find great talent. In doing so, we conducted lots and lots of interviews, not solely to evaluate the individuals, but everything was aimed at making the right match. But also, we take those interviews as opportunities to gather market intelligence and insight, not only about the people, but about the market, about the employment market, about the techniques and tactics people are using as they go about their job search. So one of the questions we ask every single candidate that we interview is, how did you find your current job? What medium did you use to get to where you are currently or most recently? How did you find that job? Did you get found on LinkedIn? Did you apply? Was it a referral from a friend or whatever? And then how did you find your previous job? And how did you find your previous job? We usually like to try to gather 3 data points. And what that tells us is, what are the avenues people are using? But we didn't just gather those statistics. We also looked at the years they were doing that, what the market was like, the demographics, and all that good stuff. Hang on, let me adjust. There we go. And a number of other things. So I want to share with you what those 5 most popular tactics are. Networking is certainly one of them, but I want to make sure you have a more complete picture about what this looks like. So when we talk to these individuals, one of the activities that a lot of them said that they used was that they researched and targeted organizations. So I picked an organization that I wanted to work for, or a collection of them, or a market that I wanted to get into, or whatever it might have been, and I researched them, and then I applied whether there was a publicized opportunity or not. One of the other activities, as you guys probably know, is a lot of people search online. That's obviously an effective means of finding your job, but it's more effective for some demographics than others. The other one was networking, right? So a lot of people were employee referrals, or they found somebody who introduced them to somebody who ultimately gave them a job. Some people also volunteered. They volunteered, and this is even a form of networking in some fashions, but they were volunteering in a direction that they were trying to go, which led to a job. And then others said they worked with a recruiter, maybe they reached out to a third-party recruiter, maybe somebody found them on LinkedIn or something of that nature. But these were the top 5. Now, if you've been following me for a little while, a few months back in the summer, about three months ago or so, I did a similar series as we're doing right now. It was called my Job Search Masterclass. It was a 3-part video series, and the second session of the Job Search Masterclass focused on tactically these activities and in what percentage people actually found their jobs. So based on their demographic, based on who they were, where they were, how old they were, their income levels, and all that good stuff, I shared detailed statistics about these activities in what percentages you were likely to find your job that way based on who you are. If you haven't seen the Job Search Masterclass and you want more insight into all those stats, as well as some work plans into how I would allocate my time in my entire job search, I would check that out. And we're not going to go into those details here, but I do want to talk about some of the statistics related to networking. because it's very important. And obviously I don't think I need to convince a lot of you that networking is important, but I do want to give you an order of magnitude of just how important this is. So in that masterclass, when I talked about those activities and I broke down those work plans, one of the things that there were like three, actually there's 4 work plans, 3 related to just job searching, 1 related to career changing. And I broke the groups up into kind of the younger folks, and older workers and the younger workers. I broke you up into income levels. If you earned less than 60,000, or between 60 and 100, or over 100. But basically, for purposes of illustration today, all I want to mention is the younger folks and the lower earners, say under 6 figures, they had a 27% chance of finding their job through some networking tactic. 27%, so more than 1 in 4. And if you were on the higher spectrum, whether the higher age bracket or the higher earning bracket, or both, or whatever, or either or, you had a 46% chance of finding your job through somebody you know. Think about that. Wrap your mind around that. 1 in 2 chances. So when I put those work plans together for you, as you can imagine, I was recommending that half of the time, if you are in the older bracket or higher earning bracket, you should spend half your time networking. And even if you're on the younger side, you still should spend at least a quarter of your time networking. So I wanted to impress that upon you. Now, I don't think I'm going to get a whole lot of arguments from you guys today that's an important thing to do. I know that you get that. But like a lot of things in our lives, you should get 8 hours of sleep. You should be eating right in a well-balanced diet, and you shouldn't be eating fatty foods and all this other good stuff. But common sense is not always common practice. So we've got that issue. But what we also have is I don't know exactly what I want to call these. Now, if you saw me a couple days ago, I was very empathetic and compassionate, and was very soft and a little coddling. But today I'm going to give you some tough love, because I think a lot of us, because I hear this on a daily basis. Andy, I can't network. I haven't talked with my network in a decade. It's not nurtured. Or my network isn't very big. Or I don't know anybody at that company. Or I'm moving out of state. I'm moving out of country. I'm moving off the planet. Whatever it is, a lot of these things are simply excuses. They are simply excuses. And we've got it in our head that we don't want to take advantage of this, but the fact of the matter is we just don't want to put in the elbow grease to make sure that we're taking advantage of one of the most rich avenues for us to find our next job. So I want to help you get over that and get by that and not even think about that stuff, not even worry about that stuff. So let's kind of move the discussion off of that into some of the things that I think people are doing or not doing, or doing them incorrectly. I'm going to give you some tips, then I want to go into a little bit more of a structured outline of how I would approach this. So let's go into some of the 5 biggies that I think people don't really do effectively, but I want to this is going to be 6 of these, because number zero is, just so we're all clear, networking is something that you should be doing all the time. So you got to build it and you got to nurture it. This is an ongoing professional networking exercise that everybody should be doing, no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, no matter what it is that you do. Now, the purposes of this discussion isn't going to center around building all these relationships and how I would do this on an ongoing basis and the fact that you should be giving out to the world before you're asking. But the good news is I've created a video called Business Networking, How to Build Professional Relationships. And it's a very popular video. It's on my YouTube channel. I would check it out. The link is in the description. But if you want to make sure that you are building and nurturing a healthy relationship, networking, or a healthy professional network, check that video out. It's maybe 10 minutes, 10 minutes, but it's really good. I give you my exact mechanics of how to do it, especially if you are time pressed. So it's very effective. Those are the techniques that I use. You should be doing it all the time, but we are where we are. So let's focus on the job search networking aspect of this. So one of the first big mistakes that people make is they don't do it in a targeted fashion. So when you get let go, or even if you're not let go, but you don't like your job and you want to get out of it, what do? A lot of times people just start calling their friends, and they're not very directive, they're not very thoughtful or purposeful or deliberate about where they want to go. So it's done kind of in a haphazard manner. But the other thing that this causes them to do, so 1 and 2 kind of go hand in hand. But one of the things that the non-targeting causes them to do is it causes them to be fairly vague in the request and the reach out to the other person, to the other party. Let me give you an example. There's a guy, I absolutely love this guy. I would call him a friend. And I helped him get his job in 2005. And we've developed a great relationship over the years. My guess is he's going to retire in 5 years, and I'll know him for the rest of my life. A friendly relationship. A number of months ago, he emails me for some help, like I would expect from him. That I would invite that. I would want him to do that. He sends me an email and he says, Andy, hey, my son, who's 25, works at this trading company, and he's not really happy. He wants to move on. Do you have any ideas? That's vague, because what are my questions? What does he actually do at the trading firm? Why doesn't he like it? Does he have any idea of what he's interested in or where he wants to go? If he would have given me that information, I would have been able to respond immediately. But instead, now, because he's a friend and I'm going to make the effort to get back to him, I had to make sure that I had enough slack time in my calendar to call him and ask him that. And because I actually wanted to understand and give him some insight, it took me 5 weeks to get back to him. And when I got back to him, what did I ask him? Just those same questions. And he was able to give me that, and I was immediately able to help him right on the spot. So you want to be careful about not being too vague in your ask, and we'll get specific here. The other thing that people do is they limit their networking reach out to who it is they already know, instead of thinking about getting at people who can help them that they don't currently know. And I'm going to give you some perspective on this, but you need to stretch your networking. And by the way, as a side note, in step 0 there, where I was talking about you should be building this all the time, one of the greatest things that you can do when you're network building is you should be focused not only on helping the person in whatever it is that they need, but a great way that you can help them is by expanding their network and introducing them to other people. If it stops with you, then the chain dies with you, and that's just an unfortunate situation. So you want to make sure that you are reaching out to people that you do not know. And the other thing is, you don't want to take no for an answer. And I'll be specific about what I mean. I don't mean I want you to call them screaming, I won't take no for an answer kind of thing. I want to make sure that if you are getting some engagement in the way in which you reach out to somebody, even if they are closing the door apparently to you saying, I'm not sure, I don't know, I can't help, and so on, that you are continuing your requests of what it is they might be able to help you with. So don't take no for an answer. I'll give you a little bit more on that in the case study. The other thing that I see people doing, it's really hurting them because it chews up a lot of time, is they go to the wrong networking groups. I have nothing against networking groups. In fact, I would encourage you to belong to them. But I want to make sure that you pick those carefully. You only have so many hours in the day where you can actually go to these kind of things. They chew up a lot of time, and if you do them right, you should be meeting a lot of people and nurturing those relationships. But what I see a lot of people doing is that they're going to networking groups that are filled with a lot of unemployed people in their niche. So wait, there's nothing wrong with being unemployed. I was unemployed once, and it doesn't make me a bad person or anybody a bad person. But if you are going to spend your limited time that you have to be effectively job searching, and you are going to networking groups where everybody's goal in the group is to get a job, and you're all IT professionals or IT executives or salespeople or whatever, that's not very effective. You're all competing for the same jobs, and there's very little you can do for each other. Instead, what I would do is to go to networking groups that major focus is on education. So whatever your niche is, if you're a network engineer and you want to go to network engineering networking groups, I suppose, if you want to go to those where they have speakers and the purpose is for education and to talk about new ideas and trends and so on and so forth with the majority of the people who are actually employed and happy that could probably help you get into their organization, that's where I would rather you spend your time. So this little list here, this little 5-6 item list is really a, kind of a don't do this, do that instead. On its way to, I want to give you a more prescriptive formula of how I would go through this. So the kind of understanding, some of those mistakes we make, or maybe the reasons that we're reluctant to throw ourselves out there using this great avenue for job searching. The one thing that will keep you on the straight and narrow, the one thing that I want you to hang on to, the one tip, the one thing I want to be the centerpiece of all of your networking is I want you to make sure that you target where you want to go. Where you want to go. Knowing your end state, knowing your end spot will help you get there faster. Now, I'm not just talking about I want to work for Apple or Google or whatever. That's great, and you can have a list of companies that are potential end spots for you. It could be a market, it could be a type of groups, it could be clusters, it could be a city or a state or a country. It could be whatever, but put a flag down and say, these are the possibilities that align to my interests and all of that good stuff. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are targeting where you want to go. That is the number one best tip when you are networking. Now, I'm going to help you with how to get there, but you got to know where you want to go. Now, for purposes of our discussion, and you could adjust this analogy however you want for your particular situation, but for most of you are looking to get at a great company, better company, a different company, even if it's a different career. So we're going to talk about making a company list first. So the first thing that I want you to do in terms of figuring out where you want to go is number one, I want you to make a company list, a targeted company list of where you want to go. So if you do not know how to do this, the good news is I did a whole live office hour session on literally titled How to Create a Target Company List for Your Job Search. So I give you the 12 steps and the different ideas and all that good stuff. Basically, you want to make a list. So before you start calling anybody, and don't call your mom, don't call your dad, don't call me, don't do anything. Sit down, do the research, figure out what potential companies would be suitable for you, because that's the first thing. Now, I'm not saying it's got to be all-inclusive. I'm not saying it's got to be 1,000 companies. 100 companies would be phenomenal. 50 is okay. But you give yourself a starting point so you can effectively do the second step, which is after you figure out where you want to go, figure out who can take you there. So then what you want to do is you want to map your people. You want to map your people. So first thing is, okay, these are the possibilities. These are places that I can investigate, that likely I would be interested in, that could likely use a guy or a gal like me with my skill sets and so on. Now, figure out who do you know that either works there or can help you get to somebody who works there. That's networking. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's this site called LinkedIn. It's got 500 million people on it or more. I don't know what the number is now. All you need to do is go to LinkedIn. There's a little button there that allows you to download your contacts into a CSV file. I don't care if you got 10. I don't care if you got 500 or 5,000 or 15,000 or 30,000 is the max. Just get the list. Get the list and sort it by company, sort it by name, sort it by company, sort it however you want. and start matching. Okay, so map your people to the companies. The other thing you can do, you take your company list, you go on LinkedIn, start typing the company name. It'll show you who you know there that works there as well. It will also show you if there are people that are second connections. All right, you just got to find out, well, okay, I'm connected to Jane Smith, who knows John Doe, who works at the company. So you got to map your people. That's the second step I would take. Now, you might say, well, Andy, I don't have really long lists, and I don't really know anybody, and they don't know anybody, or they're not calling me back. Well, okay, move on to the next one. Start looking at those companies. Start looking at the people at those companies. So you start developing relationships with them online. You got to start somewhere. I know you got to do it in a hurry, but better you start and get engaged in doing this and figuring out who potential teammates might be, who are people that might know somebody you know, or any which way. Look for people that work at that company and try to connect with them. Don't send them a connection request blindly. Send them an in-mail or send them an email or some which way to open up a relationship. I'm not going to go into all the dialogue on that, but you got to open it up and start getting connected with those people. And if the dialogue leads to a connection, that's a good thing. Okay? But you can target people that work there. Start building the wall brick by brick. Then the next thing that you can do, also along the lines of number 3, but I wanted to call this one out because this is a really neat tactic I can give you, and I came up with this one a long time ago. You can boss hunt. So in terms of mapping people in your companies that you're targeting, one of the things you can do is you can look at, do you think that you can identify the particular man or woman that or group or whatever that you would work in or for, or however you want to say it. They could be your potential boss. Now, it doesn't have to be your exact boss as if you know the entire organization. It could be a senior level person in the group you're trying to get in. That's totally okay too. It's totally okay too. And with the boss hunting, the wonderful thing about that is I did a video on how to boss hunt. So I not only tell you exactly how to do the technique, I created 2 cover letters. One if you knew a job existed, and one if you did not know if a job existed. So you're basically just targeting the person, and I give you the exact language to use, even if there's no position. And if there is a position and you know it and you're fairly confident that that's the person, because that's the person who manages the sales group in Chicago, and I'm a salesperson in Chicago, and that's likely going to be my boss. Okay, so either which way. But that's the 4th thing that I would do. So, company list, map your people to that company list, then start identifying people in those organizations that you don't know or you don't have connections to, start reaching out to them, and then also see if you can boss hunt. Now, these 4, if you want to know how effective this is, I've got a case study for you. There's a woman, her name is Stephanie, and she was in my first boot camp, which was in December of last year. So about not quite a year ago, but she was in Bootcamp 1. And she had been struggling for months. She was a salesperson, kind of a mid to upper level salesperson, had a salary, but mostly earned commissions, and she was out of work and she was really struggling. She gets into the boot camp. And the boot camp is designed in 5 sessions, and one of the sessions is the resume writing and the cover letters and so on. In the next session, that's the second session, and the third session is about job searching. It's much, much deeper on what we're going through here, and how you target, and how you go after, and how you build a company list, and so on. So she'd gone through the program. She revamped her resume. I reviewed it. It looked really good. Then she started to go through the process and built the target company lists and so on. She reached out to me and she said, "Hey, I'm getting responses on my resume." Actually, if you attended session 1 of this program, I had a testimonial of hers where she said, "Hey, I'm getting responses on all the sendouts and on almost all I applied to C-levels and so on." So things were going pretty good, but she said, "Hey, I really think I could use some help. I want to tighten up a few things, some messaging and so on. Could we do a coaching call?" Which we did. We did a coaching call midday on a Monday. She came to the session. She had her resume. Everything was in order. We talked a little bit about what she'd been doing. And one of the things that I asked her to do before the session was to come to the session with her 10 favorite companies that she wanted to target that she had not targeted yet. And we were going to talk about those, whether they had positions open or not, but the companies and whatever other insight she could get on the companies, if she could find people and so on. She did. She came with the companies. She came with the targeted individuals. So it was either she was in sales, vice president of sales, or it was the chief operating officer or CEO of a small company or whatever. It was a variety of people, but she had all that. What we did was I said, okay, here's what we'll do. Tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, which is the best time to send communications to people that you do not know. Tuesday morning, send out your 10 emails with the boss hunting cover letter and your resume. 10 send outs on Friday. 4 days later, call me, let me know how this all played out. She sent the 10 messages. 3 days goes by, she reaches back to me. Maybe it was on Saturday, she reaches back to me and she said, okay, here's what happened. I sent the 10 out, 2 of them didn't respond. So, okay, that's actually pretty good. 2 of them didn't respond. So I got 5 people who responded and said no. I said, awesome. And then I got 3 interviews. Now, the quick side of the piece of the story is one of those 3 interviews, she actually took the job, which is great. But that's actually not even where I want this story to end because there's so much more information for you to know about networking. The 5 folks that got back to her said, thank you for reaching out. We can't use you at this time. You're not a fit. Whatever they said. Didn't matter. We expected that. So in our Monday session, I said, okay, when you send your resume out, you're going to get no's. Don't take no for an answer. What do you do when you don't take no for an answer? If you get a response, awesome, because now this is effectively networking. You can continue the dialogue. If somebody doesn't reply to you, you can't chase them, right? You can't make them reply to you. But if they do reply to you and they say no, then here's what you say to them. Hey, thank you so much for reviewing it. While I'm really interested in you and your organization, please let me know if anything changes. Otherwise, I will check in with you in a couple months to see if anything, next quarter or whenever it is, to see if anything has changed. In the meantime, as you can see, I am job searching. Do you know of any other organizations or individuals who might be building out their teams that could use somebody with my skill set? 2 of the 5 got back to her. 2 of the 5 got back to her, gave her vice president of sales, their buddies at some other company. She sent them messages. Both of them called her. They had interviews. That is how you keep it rolling. And that shifted from an employment application or opener, or I don't really care what you call it, but that's networking. And that is taking advantage of all the responses that you get no matter what they are. Because if the dialogue is going, good things like this can happen. But if you don't respond after they say no, or you don't make the attempt, or you keep shoving that resume into an applicant tracking system, you can't make any of this stuff happen. So I love that story. Not only do I love the outcome, but all of the other rich pieces of insight that you can gain from that. And those 4 tactics that I gave you, build the company list, map your people, target people at those organizations, and then the boss hunting. She had a little bit of all of that in there. Now, those 10 actually were all boss huntings, all boss hunting cover letters. So that's available to you. I would go and grab it. So that's that technique. Now, I have a little bit of a bonus story. How are we doing on time here? I'd like to spend a couple of minutes and give you this little bonus story because I think it's very germane to what a lot of you are going through. And I want you to know this is what can happen if you keep at it and you give these things I just described an attempt at reaching out to people. You never know. I hope it'll inspire some confidence in you, and also, and not the least bit, it'll share a little bit of me with you and the struggles that I go through that are the exact same things. They are literally the exact same things that you go through, because I'm constantly trying to market myself. You are in the ultimate marketing exercise right now. Even if you have known nothing about exercising or market exercises, you are marketing yourself. So I want to share this with you. So I take a lot of training. And in the summer of 2015, I decided and made a commitment that I was going to spend a lot more time and a lot more effort and train myself and build out these programs to become a coach and a trainer to you in this format. So I said I would spend one entire year and do nothing but share my knowledge with the world. I'm not going to sell anybody anything, and I just want to foster relationships and build a community, get some brand recognition, and really try to help people. A whole year goes by, and every week of that year, pretty much, I put out a blog post and an article. We gave some kind of circulations, some downloads, and some things away. We gave a lot of free stuff away. And then, in April rolled around, May rolled around, and I started taking training on shooting videos. I started doing that in the summer, and I was attending a monthly coaching session with one of my trainers, much like I have with you guys, that you guys come to my monthly sessions. The trainer says to us, he said, and it was about building out your brand. One of the things that you guys should be doing is you should be writing for these columns. And I was already doing that. So some of the online magazines were syndicating my work, but he mentioned the Huffington Post. And he said, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can go to the site in the Huffington Post, and right there at the bottom, it just says, please submit your articles. We welcome any and every, of things of interest. So I said, oh, okay. I tried one. I took one of the articles that I'd already written, and I put it in the Huffington Post, and I filled out their form, exactly like you guys would put your resume into an applicant tracking system. I mean, that's exactly what it was. And I didn't really expect much. I didn't have any expectations. I'm assuming they got thousands upon thousands of these every single day. Had no idea how long it took them to look at them or whether they looked at them at all. So that was over the weekend. And then there was a woman who used to work with Kara and me at Mile Walk. Her name is Rhonda, bless her heart. I talked to Rhonda on Monday morning, and I said, hey, Rhonda, over the weekend, I identified 29 articles, and what I want you to do, when you take the kids to school and you get home, you turn the computer on, every morning, first thing to do is take the article in the sequences that I've given them to you, cut, copy, paste, put in my email, and so on, right at the Huffington Post, just go there and submit them. 30 days goes by. 30 days goes by, dead silence. I mean, dead silence. And so I thought, all right, well, I didn't really have any expectations. We spent a lot of time. We took a shot. We gave them plenty of time to review these. I didn't really have any feelings one way or another, because I'm not going to let their viewpoint of my article determine what I think of the value that I could contribute to somebody like you. So I thought to myself, this is a Thursday. I thought to myself, well, I don't know anybody. As I looked, I didn't know anybody at the Huffington Post. I didn't know anybody who knew anybody at the Huffington Post. So I thought, well, I'll just email Ariana Huffington. How hard could that be? So I go and I find her email, which took mere seconds, and I crafted an email to her. And the email went something like this. Thursday night, 8 o'clock, said, hi, Ms. Huffington. I'm a big admirer of you because you're basically amazing. And and I pointed to some things. The reason I'm reaching out to you is because I am a career coach, and I offer this kind of value to the world. I have a good platform and a community, but I feel like your platform and your magazine would benefit, your readers would benefit from my insight. It would obviously benefit me. So that's why I'm reaching out. Over the last month, I've submitted 30 articles. I haven't heard back, from anybody, but I thought I'd reach out to you to see if it was of interest. Here's my social media platform with the links. If you have a moment, go here, which is my blog where you can basically get a feel for it. I would welcome any insight and feedback you have. Thank you very much. Okay, Thursday night, go to sleep. Friday morning, I wake up. Now, every morning when I wake up and I open up my email box, I don't know what yours is like, but I have 1,000 emails in the morning. And I kind of cringe like this, and then they all flood in. And so I glance down the column out of my Mac screen, and I look for things that are unique or weird or things that I wouldn't expect, and I just want to make sure that nothing's burning down. I look for, those kind of things. And so there it was, way at the bottom, Ariana at HuffingtonPost.com. she emailed me back, what probably was about 3 hours later, and said, hi Andy, thank you so much for reaching out to me. I took a look at your stuff. It's fantastic. We would love to feature your voice on the post. I've copied Madeline, the senior, editor in charge of contributors. She will, Madeline, please get Andy set up immediately. The next email was Madeline, said, hey Andy, here's your username and password. So have at it. You can post as much as you want. The editors, I and the team go through all the submissions on the contributor platform, and then we look and figure out, whether it makes sense for us to promote that to our readers. Have fun. So I knocked off the workday on Friday. I took the same article I initially submitted and I put it in the thing. So I put it in the thing, and then I went to bed. And on Saturday morning, I woke up, and Saturday's a little different. I came down, I made the coffee at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I grabbed my iPad, I opened up the iPad, I turned it on, and the mail icons that's sitting there on the bottom of the tray, I went to probably went to get some water or whatever. I get back, I grab my iPad, and I look down at the mail, and there's like 9,000 and some odd in the little red bubble, the little badge bubble or whatever that tells you how many emails you got. I thought, oh my goodness, what the hell happened? So I open it up, and at that time, and I wasn't as familiar to the world as I am now, when somebody would download something from the Mile Walk site, I would get an email that said Jane Doe and janedoe@gmail.com grabbed your ultimate professional resume template. And I would look at all the names that came in, and I wanted to see what people were downloading, and it was a quick and easy way for me to see it. And there was only so many of these. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell happened? The only thing that I did was I submitted this article. So I went to the Huffington Post, and there it was, right at the top of the business section. The top article, and 9,000 new people who'd never heard of me that are now getting help from me at this moment grabbed something that they needed. And this didn't, and then it sat there for 10 days, and thousands upon thousands more each day just kept grabbing the template or whatever it was that we were circulating at the time. Now, why am I telling you this? Because if you think about it, you got nothing to lose by taking a shot, and you never know what can happen. It only takes one. It only takes one. One person, one company, the right company, but you often will not get a chance or swing at the plate if you don't put yourself out there and you don't send the message. Nothing bad can happen from you sending a very polite, nice email to somebody. Nothing bad can happen to you. And so, this story, it's a little piece of me, and kind of how, and this is, we're talking about, July of 2016. I wasn't selling anything. I didn't have any training programs or the coaching platform or all that stuff to offer people. I just wanted to help and was really just trying to figure this out as I was trying to augment my career, make a career change. So for you out there, those steps that I gave you with targeting, for me, I was just targeting this place. And it took me a little while to realize they weren't going to respond to my submissions, so I had to use a different route. So save yourself a bunch of time, stay away from the ATSs if you can afford to, or if there's no other way, and try to start leveraging the relationships that you have to build the relationships that can help you get to where you want to go. So I hope that helps. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that story is probably a little long, but I've never said that to anybody. No one knows that. But I go through the same kind of struggles, and I have to figure out ways around. Now, that message I sent to Ariana Huffington, that sounds a lot like the Boss Hunting cover letter. So I'd encourage you to check that out. So if you're loving this, I know we had a little hiccup there. Hit the thumbs up. We're gonna go to the chat here. I'm gonna try to find it on this new screen that we're using, and let's take your questions. For those of you that are watching this on the recording, I'll see you next week. And for everybody that's here, let's get your questions answered. All right. Hey, Kara, you know what? I don't know if I think I got the chat going. I got Riza at 144 at the bottom. Thank you for that reminder. Just let me know. So I see me at 11:30 up at the top, and I got Riza, and I'm assuming everybody else is in between. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna hit to the chat. Now, one other thing I want to mention to you guys. I'm not going to go into. I'm not going to take up much time on the boot camp, but I want to let you know, and I'll send you an email reminder about it next week. My job search boot camp. This starting next Friday, so 6 days from now, is the last live round of the year. It's normally 5 sessions where we do a lot of self-awareness stuff, a lot of internal work, requirements gathering, questions, and so forth. We go into marketing, resume, cover letter, LinkedIn stuff. We go into job searching, so what you just went through on steroids. And then we talk about job interviewing, and we talk about salary negotiation throughout the entire process, meaning salary negotiation, how do you accumulate points to get paid what you deserve throughout the entire process. So it's not just the act of salary negotiation. It's normally a 5-session program. I'm adding 2 additional sessions, one in November and one in December, to make sure you have the latest and greatest and most appropriate tactics for that time of year, so that in the most rich time, which is December, January, and February of the year to job search, you are dialed up and dialed in. That's all I want to say about the boot camp. I would hope that you check it out. There is some special pricing and like I said, some other giveaways. There's some ongoing coaching. You would basically get 12 months of ongoing coaching as well. So there's a lot there. I'm not going to go into it all because I want to go to your questions, but I just want to make mention of it. I'm not going to really talk too much about it today, but this program and the ability to get into the live program expires Thursday. So all right, so let's go to the questions. And let me see if I gotta switch this to live chat. All right, I've got Kara, I just lost. Oh goodness. Hang on. So, I lost everything before 106. I don't know why. Let me see if I could pop out the chat. Hang on, folks. Hey, Kara, I can't see anything before 106. So can you do me a favor and I'm guessing I probably have a lot of it. I've got Maya at 106. And so if there's anybody who had questions before that, can you just let me know that? I want to be mindful that I might have missed some of the folks that got in early and asked me some questions. All right, so let me go to the chat and let me figure out here what it is that you are looking for. All right, so I got a whole bunch of hellos. Maya, Pilar, John, great to see you. Kristen, glad you're back. Muslim, T. Betterman, Cindy Dunn. Jasmine, how are you? Wendy, great to see you. Debbie, how are you? Hey, by the way, you're on my list. I got an extra book for you, a special book for you, and they're on my kitchen table, and I just need to sign them. So I did not forget you. All right. Let me see. Eric, great. Thank you. Daniel Gomez, who from Perth, Australia, now in Florida, I believe. May. All right. So I got May at 109. Mustafa's got a question. Okay. I can see May. Kara, I can see May's, but I'll take Mustafa's question. You are awesome. Okay. That's a pretty good one. I'm a student, a QA intern. What do you think about attending tech meetups as part of your networking strategy? Thank you. Yes, meetup groups are phenomenal. So those, good. Meetups, generally, and I've participated in some of these as we were heavily recruiting different types of niche players. Meetup groups are great. And if you physically go to them, that's really cool. Sometimes they're online. But yes, So I would highly recommend those. Highly recommend those. All right, May, I've got that in the chat. All right, I haven't created a LinkedIn account yet. Will soon. Is it necessary to put your LinkedIn on your resume? That is not necessary, no. Should I wait until I have a lot of connections first when applying for jobs? No. So, folks, now I know we're talking about networking today, and this is a great question. It only takes one. If you only have one connection, and it's to the CEO of some company you want to work with, you're in Fat City. So, by the way, your ability to network is not limited or handicapped because you don't know a lot of people. It's handicapped because you don't want to take the steps to open up the new relationships. And so don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged when you're reaching out to people that aren't responding to you. You got to think about your message. Is it warm, welcoming, enlightening? Are you offering them something? Is there a reason that you're enticing them to get back to you? You got to craft good messages, and don't worry. Nothing bad is going to happen by you sending a message, an email or an in-mail or however you're doing it, a tweet, a fax, a Facebook, whatever, to get to them. I mean, LinkedIn is a great way to go because there's so many people that are on there, and it doesn't matter if you don't have a lot of connections. I would not let that stop you. I would not let that stop you. All right. All right, Tim, I got this one, and Kara, I got him. I got him now. I'm at the spot. All right, Tim Toon, how are you? Hey, Andy, I tried the boss hunting letter template. Oh my God, I'm not going to read the rest. I hope it did. I had to take out the mushy stuff because that just isn't the way I relate to this person. Totally okay. Totally okay. I haven't heard back. How do I follow up? Great question. Okay, wait. That was very nice. Okay, wait. I'm glad you offered this. Folks, remember, I sit here in my office at my table. I write stuff that the world can use. And there is a outline inside all the words. So, number one, you gotta make sure that it sounds like you. Number two, you got to make sure you have the relevant pieces, and it's okay to mix and match and do those kind of things. But the hardest part for most people is starting. Now, I like to think that, and by the way, I get tons of emails from people that use them, bang, don't change a word, put their stuff in, and it works. And that's great. But for most people, they need a starting point. I'm giving you that. The 4-sentence cover letter, the 7-sentence cover letter, the boss hunting cover letters. I've given those out all to you. Use them in good health. Make them your own. And the other thing that I would recommend is I want you to pay attention to what's happening. So I'm sending this boss hunting cover letter, and I phrased it this way, and this one doesn't seem to be working as well as this one. You should literally track what you're doing. That's marketing. That's statistics. That's watching the techniques. We do that. When I send you an email, there's a subject line. We look at the percentage. How many people open that one? I switch the subject line to that. Same subject, same content, same thing. It matches, but people like that one better. Okay, ditch the other one. Same thing for you. Now, Tim asked, well, I haven't heard back. How do I follow up? What I like to do is I would reach out to somebody, and everybody's busy. If it was an initial contact of somebody that I didn't know, I would probably wait 7 to 10 calendar days. So a week, 10 days, depending on when you sent it. Sent it on a Friday, you know what I mean? Wait the following Monday. And then I would just say, hey, I wanted to follow up on this. Wondering if whatever your pitch was. Loop back to the pitch. Then what I would do is if I didn't hear from them for 2 weeks to 17 days, I would try again. Okay, and that, you don't want to be too pesty, but you also don't want to just give it a one and done. So, Tim, that's what I would do. And how do you follow up? It's the same thing. Hey, I wanted to reach back about this. I'm, wondering if you had a chance to look at it. I'm still interested in connecting with you, and so on. That's what I would do. Hope that helps. Donald, great to see you, man. And Mom, great to have you there. All right, Henry, CK, go. Karen from Canada. Actually, Karen, you were probably right on time. I was mucking around with this silliness. I don't like this new format, but all right, here we go. Romancia, great to have you. Judith Meyer, great to have you. Yes, an I-teamer. Brooke Sachs, new boot camper. Love having you, Brooke. All right, I was away. What was number one? I got to 0 and 2. I think you mean the mistake. The mistake was Connie was asking, not targeting. Connie, you know that one. All right, Venkata, great to see you, man. Kristen. Okay, wait. This is really good. This is really good because Kristen is in the boot camp and she lives in a spot and she's got a couple avenues. She's living in a great city. But there's only a finite amount of opportunities, and she's got a couple different avenues she can go down. And she's saying she went to the wrong groups. That was the biggest time waster of the summer. But I love the attitude. Helped me practice my elevator pitch, answering what I'm looking for. And now she's gonna go, but now must be in stronger groups. So, whatever you've done, look positively upon it. It was a good experience, and you needed to do that. But I'm just trying to help you minimize, the time wasters with this stuff. If you are targeted, it's really gonna help. By the way, wait, I saw Charles was here. Charles, a boot camper, and good luck on your interview this week or whenever it's going to be, this third round you're going through. Give you a shout out and a group hug, I hope. Let's see, where are we at? Surrounded 07, Price of thank you. I'm not sure what I said there, but I'm glad you liked it. Daniel Gomez, job fairs. Okay, wait, so this is a great one. What's my recommendation on job fairs? So I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with job fairs. If you are a college student and you want to go to, and I know you're not. You want to go to job fairs and you're a younger person and you want to get some exposure. I've even got a video out there on how to use your 5 minutes at a job fair to get an interview. And actually, anybody who's going to a job fair, I would watch that. For the more seasoned worker, it depends. Are you in a small town where this is very prominent? A lot of the manufacturers come to this job fair and they look for opportunities to get people, to find employees. But generally speaking, I think if you target the world and you do what I mentioned about targeting the companies, developing and mapping your network, identifying your people, mapping your network, and so on, I think you're going to have better luck. I think if given the choice between the two, I would favor the company list and all that good stuff. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with mixing it up, because mixing it up allows some serendipity to happen. And I just would not overly rely on one major technique, because if you just keep going to job fairs, your opportunities are going to be limited to whoever's there at those job fairs. If you kind of open up the kimono to the entire list of all those companies in that space, you're not limited to those that are at the job fairs. So I think there's a balance there. All right, somebody asked a question. I think Kara was mentioning, how will the bootcamp live sessions be different from the online content? Great question. So, folks, for those of you who are newer to my community or haven't had a chance to check out the bootcamp, the bootcamp, if you enroll today, this minute, all of the sessions, there's the 5 major sessions plus some supplemental stuff, is all recorded from the one we did in July. The content is relatively the same in October. Okay, there's some slight changes, but we're adding 2 additional sessions, so there's going to be a lot of new content. If you can't attend the live session, the biggest piece that you're missing is the Q&A. So to be able to have the dialogue right then and there is very, very effective, because if I teach for a fair amount of time, and then we do a Q&A for a fair amount of time. You can ask me your questions and I can answer them right there. That's the wonderful thing about doing it live. It's similar to this, although we now are using Zoom. And so with this go round, if I need to have a conversation with you in the middle of the session, I can do that. Where this platform doesn't allow me to do that, but I can pull you right up on the screen and we can go back and forth, which is what we're going to do in these live sessions. And then, but the teaching and instruction part is the same. And then you have the workbook and all the templates and the downloads and all the stuff to manage the process. But you don't have to stick to the schedule that I've laid out. But the nice thing about the live session is you're going to get like 10 extra hours at least of live time with me to go through your questions. And you also have to remember, the people, there's only so many of you that actually buy the boot camp, and then there's only so many people that actually show up to the live sessions. So because they tend to be smaller groups, well, they're not tiny, but they're smaller groups. I can get through pretty much all your questions. So it's really kind of nice. And what a lot of people do is they attend the ones they can. And in addition to the boot camp, you're not just going to get those 7 sessions, but you're also going to get the November and December CoachCast sessions, which are my private monthly coaching, which are additional pieces of teaching, which are completely different than what's in the boot camp, and a lot of times related to organization, productivity, career development, and some of that other stuff. So it's really, really kind of nice. I don't know who asked that question, but thank you for that. I mean, it's always nice to clarify, and I want you guys to know, what's happening there. All right. All right, let me see. All right. Just rolling through. Thomas, hey, great to see you. What's the best way to find IT groups? Not being funny here, my friend. I would go online and I would literally Google the groups or the niches that you want. It is still the best way to find those. And I would vary the search terms. Information technology, networking groups, information technology groups near me, and so on. It is really a good way to do it. I would also tap into your network. So one thing that I would recommend that everybody do is LinkedIn has groups you can join. You can have dialogue in the groups, and I would join the IT groups, and then I would ask them, what groups do you belong to? So online networking is only so good. I mean, you do need to get in there and meet people. So that's what I would do. That's what I would do there. All right. All right. Jasmine, leaving for the train. It's 2:30 a.m. Are you crazy? You got to watch the recording of this and miss me all fumbling with the technology. Wait, can I give you guys a thanks and a shout out? I'm usually pretty good with the technology, and I know we have some hiccups sometimes, and I know sometimes they're just me screwing up, and sometimes they're out of my control or whatever. But I want to thank you for hanging in there with me and being polite and appreciative about it. I actually was emailing with another trainer who I think is awesome in my space, and she does not want to go live because of the technology. If she's on here, I'm going to yell at her, but because I think she has a lot to offer the world. And she's like, I don't want to do it because it's the technology scares me. And I will never let my fears prevent me from finding a way to get to you. And I want to encourage all of you to do that. There are people that are out there that need you to do what you ache to do. Don't give up. Don't let anything stand in your way. Don't let anything stand in your way. So I hope that helped. Let me see. A commercial announcement there. All right, Mark Shaw. All right, I'm not sure if this is a question. Mark Shaw. I am currently interviewing with 5 different companies using the networking technique Andy is describing. Okay, contacting people on LinkedIn and getting employees to introduce me to managers. How awesome is that? How awesome is that? Mark, you didn't even need the session today. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Folks, here's one thing, here's one thing. And actually, I want to say this because I think it was Tim or somebody who was mentioning about, the cover letter, the Boss Hunting cover letter. You do not, so I every week, and for this week 4 times, I get out here and I give you the best I got. I give you the best techniques. I give you the best opinion that I have. I try to be right. 100% of the time I know I'm not. But I give you my experience and I give you the templates. But the success is in the motion. The tactics will certainly help you, but don't worry about getting it perfect. Just get out and do it. And you know what? If you send an email and it wasn't the best email and somebody didn't reply to you, you fix it the next time. But you got to be in motion for stuff to happen. So, at a minimum, if my templates and encouragement did nothing but to get you to take a shot, even if it wasn't perfect, then I would be thrilled. So I just, Mark, I love to hear that you are having success. And I really want to encourage everybody, get out there and do it. Just get out there and do it. I tell you, all that training that I took and I still take and I take to this day, there's piles of stuff on my desk that I need to go through from a training standpoint. If I waited until I had it down cold, you'd never see me. You'd never see anything from me. So, I kind of like not being a perfectionist anymore because I'm in motion and good stuff happens and then I just keep fixing it. And that's what I would encourage you to do. The job search is no different. And your career is no different. So that's great. I love that. That's great to hear. CK Go 2009. Karen, I think that is, right? Karen? Yeah. With all the work you do for us, where on earth do you find time to attend seminars? Karen, I spent 4 days, all day, all night to go. You make the time. And actually, it's not only that. And this goes for everybody. And I don't know if you were on the session. Actually, this might have been in my private group. I'm in front of these cameras for so long. I so many times I don't know who, sometimes. So, if you schedule it in there, you make it happen. Actually, wait, here's one. This is what happens. I wanted to do these live sessions for you that led up to the boot camp because I wanted you guys to, number one, I love doing it. Number two, I want to help you. Number three, I realize not everybody can afford, the $497 for the boot camp, and I want to give this out to the world. And I know a small portion of you will like this, get a sense of me and my coaching, and you will likely enroll, or you will enjoy enrolling in the boot camp. Now, I could have made the marketing of the boot camp better because there's a lot of testimonials that I need to get from people that said, hey, I want to give you a testimonial, but I haven't given them the prompt to get it to me, and then I got to get it, and I got to put it in the presentation, or I got to put it on the website, or also, and I could not have done some of this. I could have cut a couple of these, but I could have gotten the testimonials and some of the other marketing stuff done. And I thought to myself, if I have to choose, then I'm gonna spend my time with you, even if you're not gonna enroll, as opposed to, and then I'll make it better next time. So when I look at seminars, I have to say to myself, I might not be able to get something done for this version of the boot camp because I need to spend 4 days at a seminar or 4 hours training that week or whatever. But if you don't make time for it, you are not going to grow. I always say, when I look at somebody's calendar, I can tell you, calendar for the week, I can tell you if they're going to progress in their career based on what's on it. And if there's time carved on it to actually train themselves and practice and do the things that they need to that are over and above their daily activities, then I know they're going to advance. And so I am constantly, every day, negotiating is not the right word, but kind of compromising on what I have to do and to the level and the crispness and the perfectness of it, or the quality versus getting something out. But it was more important for me to spend time with you and have a good presentation for you and a good coaching session than it was to get all that other stuff. And it's the same kind of thing, whether it's seminars, reading books, doing online training, getting a degree online, or whatever it might be. But I would encourage you to try to carve it in and carve out the other stuff and carve it in to your and put it in there. Just zipping down. Andrew, yes. Wait, one other thing on the Arianna Huffington thing. And for meaning that analogy, but for any of you, most of us, I don't want to say most of us, a lot of people think that because they're not getting responses from recruiters or employers are not, responding to their applicant tracking system submissions or whatever it might be, that, the world doesn't love us and that people aren't helpful and all that. But when you start putting out that good energy and that positive direction and the kind of stuff I talked about today, you would be amazed that how in that kind of interaction, especially if you have a warm and welcoming email or whatever the initial connect is, people want to help you. They do want to help you. In Stephanie's case, those people, they responded right back to her and they were trying to help her. And so, but you've got to be putting yourself in a position to be helped, So Arianna Huffington, probably no skin off her back, right? She lets me in, lets me share, but I didn't know that, right? I'm just reaching out to somebody who's super famous and awesome, and why would she want to get back to me? But don't think like that. Think like you have a lot to offer. Put it out there. People will want to help you. They will. They will. All right. Hope that helps. I don't know, but Andrew, that was a great prompt. Just sliding on down. Yeah, Tom, that totally is. All right, Swati. Hey, Andy, fantastic stuff. Do you recommend sending the boss hunting cover letter to the person via LinkedIn or their work email? You know what? I'm glad you said that because I actually forgot to tell you this. By the way, here's another little inside thing to me. I never script these things. Every week when we do our live office hours and all that good stuff, I don't write out a script. I don't have like a long script of stuff. I just say, hey, make sure to tell them about the myths. Hey, make sure to give them the 4 points. Hey, make sure to give them this. And I forgot to tell you about the boss hunting letter. You can do it any which way you want. You can take the text and you can put it in an InMail, or if you got the email or you're connected to somebody and you want to send it that way, or if you get their permission to email them, you can attach it. It's entirely up to you. What I would probably do is I'm a fan of emailing directly. So I try to find the email address. By the way, I'm going to be doing a video on how to get anybody's email address and all that good stuff. But there's ways to get those. And you just Google it and you can go watch a YouTube video and it'll show you all the steps. But I like email because it's inside the box. It's personal territory. And if I read all my emails, no matter where they come from. And I like go through them. You never know. And so there's nothing wrong. You're sending out a nice, admirable email. Who wouldn't love to get a nice email about themselves and a possibility that somebody might want to work there? And if you got a great credentials, I would gobble it up. But, LinkedIn's okay too. But any which way is okay. Just do it, right? The words are still hanging out of my mouth. Just put it in motion. Actually, what you could do is you can send them a LinkedIn email or InMail if you like that better, and then you can email them as the follow-up 7-10 days later, or vice versa. We do that when we would recruit. When we would recruit people. When we had a lot of different searches that we were doing. We still search. I've lowered the volume so that I could spend more time with you guys. But we try both routes because some people just don't look at their LinkedIn InMails, and some people they're not as, they just prefer to get them and some people prefer to get them in LinkedIn. But for the type of email you're sending, that boss hunting cover letter, send it right to their work email. You don't need to send it through LinkedIn, right? But I mean, you could if you can't get their email. That's what I would do. That's a great one, though, Swati. Yeah, that's good stuff there about the marketing position. Now you asked me a question. Okay, hang on. So Andrew's asking at 152, I'm looking for a marketing position. Whenever I apply to a position, I jump on LinkedIn and attempt to connect with somebody in the recruiting or marketing department with a senior position. I give them my resume, etc. Is that spammy? Okay, great question. Folks, I never recommend connecting just outright unless, like me, by the way, if you all are not connected to me, you should be connected to me because I'm an open networker and I encourage it and I welcome you to connect with me and leverage my network if you can. But I would not just blindly send a LinkedIn connection request. I don't have a problem with you sending a LinkedIn in-mail and introducing yourself and saying, I'm interested in a marketing position with your organization. Here are you can glance at my LinkedIn profile for my credentials. If you'd like, I can forward my, resume or something. That's okay. But don't just blind connect if, people are weird about that. I just think that it's better for you to offer up something and, create some kind of relationship or have some cordialness to it. But the connection, because what happens, I'll be honest with you. And by the way, we're going to do a whole session on recruiters, working with them. But I, as a recruiter, forget me for a second. Any recruiter would be happy to accept your LinkedIn connection request because that you're just padding their network and it makes it easier for them to find whoever. And if you're connected and in their space and in their territory, whatever, you might be connected to other people that they want, and then they might not get back to you. So I like to have the exchange first. That's my recommendation. I wouldn't call it spammy. I just don't think it's as effective. So, hey John, how are you? Okay. So here's what happens. This is a great question. So John Schmidt asks, why are November and December the most rich time of the year for job hunting? They're not. January is. Here's what happens. By the way, I'm making generalities here. Most companies that operate on a fiscal year that aligns to the calendar year, here's what happens. In October, hiring slows like normally, not always, and some companies are always hiring. But October rolls around, they're trying to wrap their projects up for the year. People are going to go and you think they're going to go settle in for the holidays. But what actually happens is they are planning for the following year. They start planning for January in 2019. Then what happens is they realize that, okay, now November hits, and they realize, okay, well, this one's out and that one's out. We're trying to wrap our projects up. But in order to have the boots in here, boots on the street in January, holy moly, we need to start recruiting now. And so they start to put the engine in motion, and then, you got the whole in and out for the holidays. You got employers know that employees, November, December is a touchy time because a lot of them are waiting to figure out if they're collecting their bonuses, getting their promotions, and so on. So there's this big huddle that, it's kind of like, okay, come on, we got to get you in motion. A lot of the employees, they get in motion, and some of them are in motion on a contingency basis, meaning, well, I'll take the job if I don't get my promotion or my bonus or this or that. And so there's a lot of uncertainty. So there's a lot of things you need to know and you need to handle a little bit differently, and there's accommodations that need to be made and all that good stuff because they want you there in January, and because new projects, new budgets, new inspirations, and so on. So it's a tricky time of year to navigate the waters. And the other thing is, I wanted to make sure, and John's in the boot camp, I wanted to make sure, and John is pointing to, the most rich time of the year. You probably saw me write that in a page or something, or maybe I said that, out publicly. But the reason that the boot camp, the last one of the year this year, is in October is I want to make sure that I could get everybody through the program. And then what happens is then everybody goes through the program. There's a lot to digest. And then, you're building your resume, you're doing all this stuff. And then I want to make sure that we're having, a kind of some finishing touches on the resume in the middle of November, which is that extra session. And then I got a whole tactics thing planned for December. And so that way you've been taught the instruction, you can get it in, get your company lists together, get your networking in order, get all the stuff that you need to, because it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. So now when the November and December comes around and companies start looking at their 2019 plans, the boot campers are all ready, as opposed to doing that later. So last year when I initiated the boot camp, we did it in December and in January. But I'm learning more about kind of how this is working. And some people are getting jobs very quickly. Some people aren't always able to go through it on the schedule. So I try to get it so that I got it early enough toward the end of the year for us to work it, and we can work it as a group. And those sessions are going to be much more interactive than they have been in the past, because I'm constantly trying to improve this stuff. So that's why I would go after that, because companies are, a lot of them panic in December because they want to make sure they have the hires for January. Huge spike in hiring every year, good market and bad. Yvonne, how are you? Reef, hey. Sonia, Delma, Brian, that's a new name. Great to have you. I don't know, maybe you've been in some of the sessions, but let's look at this. Hi, Andy. Started a new job 4 months ago. My boss is a little micromanager. What is the best time to move on? Are November and December the best time to job hunt? So I just answered that one. On the micromanager item, I would talk to your boss, and he or she may be a micromanager, but I don't know what your position is. Your position might require a lot of training, education, skill sets, and so forth. And maybe 4 months is a short period of time, and you haven't necessarily got it all down, or maybe you haven't earned the boss's trust. I have no idea, by the way, Brian, but what that is. But what I would do is I would turn to the boss, and I would say, are there some things that I could do, maybe to earn your trust and a little bit more autonomy with my responsibilities, and if so, what would that be? Because I want to work toward that. Make it about you working toward something that he or she would love. Don't make it about their personality or your perception of them or what you think about them. But by the way, I'm with you. I'm on your side. You're here with me. So I'm rooting for you. But I just want to make sure from a positioning standpoint that you make it about you. What can I do to earn your trust so that I'm granted some autonomy? I want to make sure that the quality and the level of the speed and the quality and the deliverables and whatever are up to snuff. So that's what I would do. I would have, for anybody who's dealing with anybody at work, I would always make it about you. Not in a narcissistic way, but you know what I mean. Make it about what you can do, to earn their trust. Hope that helps. Hey, Isis from the Bronx. Sam, good to see you again, man. My networking contacts are many. Okay, I can definitely see the usefulness of the approach. Boom, boom. How should I approach word-wise? Okay, my networking contacts are many. I can definitely see the usefulness of approaching them as a key job hunt resource. How should I approach them word-wise? Sam, each message as you network should be very tailored based on the strength of the relationship that you have. To my best friend, I'm going to text them and say, hey, dude, I'm out of work. Can we talk? I need your help. To somebody else who I know pretty well, I might shoot him an email and say, hey, I'm going to give you a quick call. I'm on a job hunt, and so on. Right? Like, to those people you're going to have dialogue with, you're going to talk to. To an acquaintance that you don't speak to for a long time, you might need to word it a little differently. My point is, you need to tailor all of this to whoever it is that you're speaking to. But you should be clear why you're reaching out. Why you're reaching out. Be crystal clear. Be crystal clear. There's nothing vague. Don't be vague about it. Hey, Michelle, love hearing your stuff. If my only connection to company... Okay, wait. Hi, Andrew. I love hearing great stuff from you. Thank you so much. If my only connection to a company was HR, is it okay to send a thank you note to the interviewers via their LinkedIn? Actually, Michelle, phenomenal question, because this stuff happens, right? Because interviewers, they don't bring their business cards, they don't give you their emails and that kind of stuff. My recommendation is, because you interviewed there and you do have the HR contact, I would email the HR contact and I would say, I really enjoyed meeting the interviewers. I would like to send them a thank you email. Can you please give me their email addresses? Now, 99% will respond and say, here they are. And then you get I was going to use a bad word there, but you get the busters that say, we don't give out those emails. You say, fine. I'm going to send you 4 individual emails, and would you please forward them? Here they are. Boom, 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 boom. And send it to HR, literally 4 of them, separately. Hi, Jane. Hi, John. Hi, Andy. Hi, Kim. Whatever. And send them on out, according to the thank you template that I've given you. Or the one in Interview Intervention on page 83. All right. I'm not sure, Delma, what that is. Why template? Oh, what template? Oh, boss hunting cover. Yeah, folks, by the way, I know a lot of you follow me. Hopefully you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. But if you go to andrewlacivita.com and you just put in the search bar, boss hunt, career achievements journal, stay-at-home dad, mom, parent, military vet, anything you're looking for, go to my blog, because it's in there and it'll take you right to the spot. The downloads will be in there, the videos will be in there, the podcasts will be in there, the articles will be in there, and that way you can. It's searchable. I think you might even be able to search my YouTube channel, but that's how I would find a lot of my downloads. Or head to the Mile Walk Academy. All right, Karen, that's CKGo 2009. I know you say never put your picture on your resume, but I made a networking type business card with my picture and contact info on the front. Is that okay? 2 things. Awesome. That's great. I have no problem with that. If that's for networking purposes, that's great. By the way, I only recommend putting a picture on your resume if your either profession requires it. Okay, so some of you need to put them on. Some of your actors and actresses. We just did by the way, one little plug here for the Mile Walk Academy Facebook group and the Interview Intervention Facebook group. We have a woman, Rachel, in the Bootcamp. She's phenomenal, great background. She enrolled, and she got the package with the base package. She went through the Bootcamp. She's like, I love this. Emails me, says, Andy, I want to buy the resume review. I want you to work with you on my resume. So that's an additional service if you want to do that. She did that. She's in Korea. She's trying to move to Germany. Well, I'm not familiar with Korea or Germany. The tactics are fairly universal, but each country has its own nuances. She said, the template that you gave us, the different sections work, but I need to get it from 2 pages to 1 page because that's what they want. I'm not really sure. I don't live in Germany. How can we figure this out? We sent a message to the Facebook group, and within like 10 minutes, we had 30 comments, and we got her right to the spot. We got the template that apparently they use in Germany. We used that template, which actually included her picture. It was 1 page, and we did that resume, and she loves it. And it's an awesome resume. And it's their style. And that's okay. That's great. I love it. First off, I'm totally geeked up about it because I love learning that stuff. But, the packaging inside the resume and the content, that I got down cold. the format of each country and whatever, and if this is a little different, and that, okay, those are, I don't know every country in the world and what their customs and preferences are. But that's the power of the community. And I mean, not only did we have people that lived in Europe that knew this, but we had Americans who had siblings who worked there or something, and that's actually, I think, who she got to get her to the right spot. So it's great stuff. And so, I would encourage you, take my stuff as foundational and then massage it according to your country, your standards, your personality, and so on. But I mean, it's great. It's great. I love those stories. Love those stories. Yeah, Mark, I agree. I think it's great stuff. And then T. Betterman, I think I talked to the Bootcamp folks. The reason I do this stuff, so can I? Yeah, let me little announcement here. So the Bootcamp, when I designed the Bootcamp, and the reason the Bootcamp is live. It's recorded. It's all recorded. But the reason I love doing it live is I looked at, the one-on-one coaching that I was doing with all the folks, and I was looking at, that my dialogue through my Zoom sessions or my in-person meetings. I looked at the tool set and the framework and the systems and the templates that everybody needed, no matter who they were, and 80% of that was the same. But what I noticed was there was always that little iteration, like teach, question, try, and so on. And then I looked at a training program that I created in 2016 in November called the Ultimate Career Course, which was like 50 videos. They were all kind of bite-sized. It went through similar methodology. They were all little discrete videos because that's what I thought people wanted. Then I realized as I started becoming more and more familiar with online training, and really I was watching the results, I was watching what people were taking to, I thought, you know what, I need to get it down to a very small finite number of things for them, but it has to be deep enough so that they're actually going to get to where they want to go. But I love, and I think it's more effective to do this live so I can be with you. And I did something. I got an email. I don't know if Charles is still here. He emailed me something about an interview he had, and I was on the road and I needed to clarify something for him. So I just shot him an audio, and bang, it explains it. And I could do that because he's a boot camper, and he's in there and he's engaged with me, and he needs my help. And so, and as do all of them. So I wanted to create a very interactive program because I just think that's the best way to teach you. And it's enjoyable for me. And as a matter of fact, I get something out of it too because I learn a lot. I learn a lot from these weekly live sessions. And there's a lot of trainers out there, you will never see them, ever. They shoot their videos, they package them up, they leave you on your own, and they're not there. And I will never do that. I will quit this profession before I would ever do that. So, the live sessions for me, and I added 2 more, and every month. And boot campers get a year's worth of ongoing monthly coaching. And there's a reason for this because I want to have the dialogue with them, and I give them that for free, which is like $230 or something. So, I don't know. I want you guys to know why I think what I think and why I do what I do and why I do it the way I do it. So, it matters. It matters. And I know some of you are out there and you love the live sessions, and that's cool. And you don't want to enroll. That's fine. And I know some of you just aren't buyers. That's fine too. I know some of you can't afford it. That's cool too. But I'm not going to stop training, and I'm not going to stop being live, and I'm not going to stop doing my programs live. And I got a whole bunch of really good stuff, bonuses that I don't even tell you about that they're going to be getting, the boot campers are going to be getting. So, and others. But I love it. It's a great community, and they're really helpful with each other. And the Facebook groups are great too. All right. So let me see. Where was I? Capital. I sent a cover letter and a resume to the hiring manager. I received a message from the manager stating, "Thank you for your interest. It's been 2 days. When and how should I follow up?" I'm big on 7 calendar days. So when you make a submission, then, wait 7 days. And then if he if they said, if the manager, you got a message from the actual manager that said, thank you for your interest, I would wait 7 days. And I would say, I want to follow up on that. That's all. TMT, I don't know. Is Houston a good place to start a new career path? I'm not sure. If you are in oil and gas, it is. Let's see. Nick Del Pino, this has got a good one. Should I only include accomplishments in my resume bullets that speak directly to the role? I'm concerned adding unrelated accomplishments may be distracting. Nick, so this is a phenomenal question because it's great. It's very confusing. And so what I recommend is I don't like too many bullets under each title, under each job that you had. And I would spend time optimizing my bullets based on what the job description is calling for. If you've got a lot of unrelated stuff and you need to save real estate on the paper, then I would take them out. If however, the bullet is not necessarily related to the skill or the job description, but is related, here's your caveat, is related to, organizational skills, leadership skills, customer service skills, those kinds of things that are wonderfully universal, that everybody wants, or that showed initiative, or that you were a pioneer, or that you did, leave those in. Leave those in, because that is stuff that they do want to see. So I hope that helps. Let me see, how we doing? Okay, I got a few more minutes because I actually have to prep for Tuesday, and I have to finish up a contract for a new recruitment client. Kara, I don't know how we're doing here. Let me just kind of make sure I got all this stuff in order. All right. We talked about November and December. Sam, take it easy. Reef, you're welcome. Miriam, you're welcome. All right, let me do T. Betterman here. I like this better than the more formal marketing techniques. Recommendations are good, but seeing you in person makes a bigger and more positive impact. Oh, Tashelle. Hey, welcome to the Bootcamp. You are welcome. And I owe you an email anyway. I didn't know that was you. All right, Manisha. Oh, Manish, this is a great one. What subject line should one type on their boss hunting cover letter? I think you should make it somewhat... Wait, this is ridiculous. You need to make it somewhat generic and somewhat personal and somewhat on point to what it is you're inquiring about. So you could say something like, interested in working with you, interested in working on your team, interested in working at your organization, or something of that nature. I would not, just polite and smooth and easy. You do not, don't do something cheeky just to think that a sexier subject line is going to try to make somebody open them. The most important thing about the boss hunting cover letter is that you are trying to get to a person who actually opens their email. The subject line itself is not, in many cases, going to sway. It really does not. You are either an email opener or you are not. Or you are not. That is my true belief. If you need something, like it's different for me with my relationship with you, I need to make sure that there is a level of enticement, but I'm trying to get it on point to what is included in the email that will benefit you or what it is that I want to share. It's different because you get a number of emails from me each week, right? You get your Tuesday email, you get your Thursday email, you get a Thursday morning email, you get a reminder, that kind of thing, and then I try to throw one in on the weekend and so on. That's different than you sending one email to one person one time, hoping, you know what I'm saying? So that's just smooth and cool, and don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. All right. All right, here we go. All right, I'll take one or two more here. Mostafa, if you're a fresher or recent IT grad, should I reach out to startups, small to mid-sized companies, or should I focus on larger companies, say the Fortune 500? Okay, anybody at any level, here is the sequence in which I would think. Okay? Remember I said session 1 of the boot camp was about you, your self-awareness, your requirements. It's about your interests, what drives your happiness, and so forth. Do the deep work up front. I realize, Mustafa, you're a younger professional, so you don't have as much experience, and without the experience, you can't always see what you like. But think about yourself and think about what you enjoy. Do you tend to like lots of structure, manuals, things that tell you how to do what to do, lots of people to support you, and so on? Bigger company. Or do you like the smaller company? Do you think in terms of nimble, wear more hats, little baptism by fire, and so on? Might you be more interested in that? That's a very basic way to look at it. However, you also need to think in terms of wherever it is that you live, the employment market, the opportunities, and so forth. Generally speaking, this might be contrary to what a lot of you think. You have a better opportunity getting into a smaller organization. They're a lot more flexible on who they hire, when they bring you in, creating positions, and so forth. Small companies create lots more new positions for growth than large companies ever will. Ever. In the history of work, one of the most prolific years of all time, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And there's like 12 million jobs created. 11 million of them were created by small companies. So, you have to think in terms of stats and probability and odds as well. Now, there's nothing that prevents you from applying to all of them. Meaning put them on your target company list and going at it. And you might learn through the interviewing process what's better suited for you. And I would think that that's worth it for you. And I would not be too hung up if you are looking for your first opportunity. You are likely, statistically, not going to stay at that company forever. So get in, learn your trade, learn your craft, enjoy yourself, meet the people, and so on. And don't worry about it. And you'll get some experience, and you'll move on at some point, when it runs its course. So I hope that helps. All right, let me see. You can try to grab one more here. Hey, Ryan, how are you? Yeah, I know. I don't normally don these shirts for you. Oh, Arvind. Okay, let's go on with this one. What's the best time to apply for internships for summer of 2019? So there's no hard and fast rule, because like some companies, they want you in the tank from many months before. So some companies are going to start hiring in December for that. Other companies are going to wait all the way till May for the summer internships. I would get out there and I would start applying now. I don't care if it's too early. I don't care if they say, hey, thank you for your submission. We will know more next March. I don't care. Get them out. Get them moving. You never know what's going to happen. Okay, folks, I need to hit it. Apologies for the initial, technical difficulty, but I love having you. Check the concierge or the event page. The recording will be up there. And then also, we're live on Tuesday at noon Eastern time, 12 p.m. Eastern time, this coming up Tuesday, which is in a couple, Sunday, Monday, 3 days. The boot camp itself is open until, the special is open until Thursday night, at which time the price goes up and the package gets rearranged. So take advantage of this. I'm going to send you some email reminders, but if you got any questions, just reply to my emails, let me know. If I didn't get to your question and you're interested in following up, drop it in the comments when this recording is done. It'll be, YouTube records it. and we'll go from there. And I am having a ball. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for spending your Saturday with me. I always wonder if we should do these on the weekend, but I wanted to get you 4 great tips. I hope the networking stuff helped, and we're going to be talking about interviewing on Tuesday, and you know how much I love that. All right, I'll see you guys. Be great. I'm going to go do some more work. You guys, hopefully you have a resting